Hi everyone, it's Kate from the Fold Line. I'm back this week with the edit. I hope you're well and having a nice week. We've got some really lovely patterns this week. As I said last week, the release rate of patterns over the summer does tend to slow a little bit, but we've got a nice little edit, actually a couple of really good ones. If you've got a wedding coming up, we've got a couple of good things. So I will get started. First up, matchy. This is called the Schoolhouse Sundress. This is PDF only. Obviously, we can print the pattern sheets for you if you cannot be asked to stick them all together. And I would recommend with a dress like this to get the pattern sheets printed because there is a lot of fabric going on. Sizing on this is a UK 6 to 38. So I'm going to talk you through some of the details as to why I think this is so special. Looking at the line drawing, you can see that there is little straps, square neckline, panel down the front of the dress. Things that I like a lot about this is that the top bit of the neckline is flat and then there's just a little panel in the middle that's got gathering. I think that makes, especially if you have a larger bust area, it just means you don't have so much fabric going over your bust, which I think is a really clever move. Then there you can see that there are gathered panels. These finish at the side just below where your bust is, and it means that you get this kind of floaty dress, but it means that the top of the dress is a bit more fitted, and it's stuff like that that I think is really clever and interesting. It just makes like a floaty silhouette dress feel a bit more special. As usual with matchy, they have beautiful colour combinations and you can have quite a lot of fun. As you can see, you could put different fabric in the inserts at the side. But it's a lovely loose fitting summer dress. I feel like if you are going on holiday, this would be magic to like throw over to go down to the beach. I do also think actually if you made this in something like a crepe or something really kind of floaty, it would also work as a dress for a wedding and you'd be so comfortable. It would be amazing. But I'll show you some pictures to give you a bit more of an idea. But I just think this is really, they just add really beautiful, clever details, matchy, and yeah, I love this. So summer dress, that's an absolute win for me. Next up, we've got a jumpsuit from Sew Over It. It's called the Courtney jumpsuit. PDF only for this. Sizing is a UK 6 to 30. Again, we can print out the pattern sheets for you. This is another pattern that I would recommend getting printed because there'll be quite a lot of pages. Let's have a little look at the line drawing. So there are two variations with this jumpsuit, and it's just basically the different type of neckline. So you can either have it so it's cut square, and I actually really love the height. It's a kind of a higher neck, and I think it's really makes it more interesting. I really like that cut. And then there is a lower cut sort of sweetheart line. You can see that the top part of the bodice is lined. There are princess seams on the front and then waist darts at the back, and there are darts on the waist at the front as well. So you do get quite a lot of shaping with this. You can see it's a nice wide leg. Again, this would be a great one. I was saying earlier, at weddings, I feel like this would be a really nice fun thing to wear for a wedding. Again, also you could make this for a holiday. It just feels like a really lovely pattern. So if you have been thinking kind of smart jumpsuit, this one is definitely worth going and having a bit of a look at. Then we have got a new pattern from Silver Saga Patterns. It's called the Chloe Dress and Top. Sizing on this is a UK 6 to 28. I'm going to show you, start with the line drawing because there are quite a lot of options with this pattern. So it's based or inspired by a vintage chemise. So it's kind of loose fitting, feels a little bit night dressy, super comfortable to wear. Actually, you could have it as a nightie, it'd be lovely as a nightie. But let's have a look. So there are two options. You can either have it with little puff sleeves or you can have it sleeveless. You can have it, there's a variation that has buttons all the way down the front, or you can have it with some gathering around the neckline. So the thing that I really love about this pattern in particular is that from here down to about here, there is no gathering, so it's sewn flat and you just have the gathering sort of from here to here, which I think makes, I don't know, it just feels a little more elegant in the kind of details. it's kind of loose fitting, and then the top variation you can see is obviously just lopped off, so you can either have it with sleeves or without. But yeah, I feel like this would be something that if you made it once and liked it, you'd probably make it a lot of time again. And it's, yeah, it's very sort of, all of their patterns are quite romantic, so if you haven't seen Silver Saga before, go and check them out because they've got some really lovely ones. Yeah, so that is a lovely summer dress / top if you're looking for one. Next up, we have such a fantastic pattern from the Modern Sewing Company. It's called the Day Tote. Now, I know we have some tote bag patterns, but this one is pretty fantastic. It has loads of internal pockets, which I just love. So let me show you the line drawing so you can see what's going on the outside. So you can see that it's quite a square bag. It has two different handles, so you can have it so that it goes over your shoulder, or you can just hold it. Then let me show you a picture of the inside, because this is where it gets quite sexy. It's the number of pockets for me. There's a little pocket at the end for your water bottle, loads of internal pockets. It would work really fantastically. Anyone who's looking for a sort of project bag where to store all your crafty bits, but also it would work really it's just, anyone who's got children, you could think of all of the snacks you can hide in all the pockets. It's just fantastic. I think this is like my favourite pattern this week. I think it's such a useful one. There's a little place you can put your keys. It just feels so useful, and I love, why don't all bags have loads of internal pockets? Because then everything doesn't become big like mush where you've lost everything. So yeah, if you're looking to make your life a little bit more organised, then this is definitely for you. And I love the piping as well. I think that's a really nice touch. It adds quite a lot of structure to the bag, and it's just, yeah, it's an absolute winner. So if you haven't seen that one yet, definitely go and check it out. Then we have got a lovely pattern from Itch to Stitch. It's called the, oh gosh, Izzet Skirt. Irazu, let's go for that. Sizing on this is a UK 6 to 36. And let me show you the line drawing so you can see what is going on. It's funny, this skirt shape has become really popular within the indie sewing community in the last kind of 6 months. So the interesting thing is this shaped waistband. You can see that it's got this dip at the front with a little bit of gathering. You can make the skirt that sits just above the knee, a midi length or full length, depending on what you want. And there are two different cut options. So you can either have it so that the kind of midi length is just one panel, or you can add in a tier of gathering if you would like. But that sort of swooped waistband at the front just feels really kind of is having a bit of a moment. The thing that I do really like is that gathering is just in the middle of the skirt, so it doesn't go the whole way around, so it doesn't add loads and loads of volume in. It just adds a little bit of interest at the front, and I think that's quite a clever sort of cutting detail on this. And you can see also at the back of the skirt there's a little bit of gathering as well, so it kind of is mirrored on the back as well. I just think it's a really lovely pattern, so if you are on the hunt for a skirt pattern, this one is definitely worth having a look at. And then last but not least, it's a very simple pattern from Tammy Handmade. They're called the Lilia Pants. These are PDF only. Sizing on this is a UK 6 to 32. This is a nice one that you will not need anyone to print because there's hardly any pages. 12 pages in fact, so it's a very small pattern. There's two different waist options, so there's sort of a regular waist and then a high waist depending on what you prefer to wear. And you can finish it off, as you can see, with this little like elastic trim, or you don't have to have that. It's totally up to you, but they're quite like a nice fun project. Also fantastic for using up leftover jersey. So if you are someone who sews a lot with stretch fabrics and you've got all these bits over, you could make yourself some pants and then using up all your leftover lovely bits, and they'd be really fun pants as well. So that is it from me this week. I hope you found something nice to sew, and I will be back soon with another video. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.